What is up, peeps? Welcome back to a very special episode of Fixing Matches with iBUYPOWER, a series brought to you by iBUYPOWER. We are so thankful for them, where we interview your favorite Counter-Strike pros, and they also review clips of gameplay that you guys submit for this series. This one a very special one because it's none other than Mr. Rush himself, a former NA major winner, over a decade of experience in Counter-Strike, and a great conversation on a lot of different topics about his experience while playing CS. So we hope you guys all enjoy this episode of Fixing Matches with iBUYPOWER.
What was it like back then as a young talent, like discoverability wise from a team? Like, how do you get noticed and recognized? And what was the first moment where someone reached out or you reached out? How did that go down?
Honestly, it was the 10-mans, like the old 10-mans with Dazed and Steel. That was like a really hard ring to get into, but there were other 10-mans that were like, I forgot his name. His name is Gank, I think. He was some guy who always made like kind of like tier 2, tier 3 10-mans. Sometimes like some better players would be in those 10-mans, like occasionally, right? Like they just find their way in there. So like when they see you play, sometimes it's word of mouth, really, and they speak about you, your name gets out there, then you either get invited to those good 10-mans or you get a tryout for some random invite team. But I think having good stats is not enough back then. Like you had to, like, they had to kind of know you, play with you in a game, a pug. But 10-mans were honestly where I probably got recognized most. Like I was a 10-man dominator, like first pick over swag back in the day.
All right, now we got G2 Carbon.
Perfekt, Digga.
Little pistol round action.
Was weg ist der?
Lang. Einer lang, rum.
Kurz und hinter uns war schon. Pit hinter euch. Oben Apps. Pit, schon zu lang. Lang noch einer.
Guy in pits low.
Lang noch einer.
I think
Kurz, ich hab kurz.
Honestly, Glock is so fun to use. So
Library?
such a good gun.
You and me must have different blocks.
You're right.
It's just blanks. No.
Ganz ruhig, ganz ruhig.
Alright, so
Jetzt kannst du ihn voll
he's I gotta commend his shooting style. It's like very like, some people panic spray the Glock and it works, you know, just like literally full as fast as they can and it still gets kills. But he's you know, tapping away and like taking his time. It's not like he's German, so I mean Germans always have good pistols. But yeah, nothing I can say besides good positioning and keeping his back at, like, he's not keeping his body exposed to 2 angles at a time. He's mostly, whenever he's peeking, he's making sure he's exposed to 1 angle at a time, which is pretty, you know, standard. And yeah, I think his shooting style is very just cool, calm, and collected, and that's why pretty much all of them are headshots. So
Especially in CS, it feels like a pretty different scene than any other esport, where CS pros, I think at this stage, if you are winning and doing well, it's almost better for them to stay a CS pro and just keep winning. And you're always going to have a decent salary and a decent spot on any team in CS, versus creators maybe have a harder time. But Scump's point overall was that a lot of times today, creators have it better off than pros, especially when it comes to making money. Do you think you agree or disagree with that?
I never liked creating content, I guess because it's not who I am. Laziness. I prefer to be out in real life more. I know it sounds like a cop-out, but like, for example, this is like a tangent to what you said, and I'll answer your question after. But my plan is, like, honestly, like right now I'm doing like performance coaching with Edward Cleland and Mindbody Esports, but I'm doing that for now. But I feel like in the future I kind of want to like do something else with my life, like outside of esports completely, because I want to like have a different chapter, like start and like close the last chapter. I love esports and it always, you know, be a special place, and I always pay attention to it. You know, I want to kind of move on to something else because I think it's important to like have stages of your life, you know. Anyways, to answer your question, I think that for CS right now, I don't know the intricacies of other games, but yes, it's very, very lucrative to be a pro right now. But when you create content and you've been doing it for a while, you create a base, like a structure for yourself that you can most of the time always go back to unless you like get canceled or whatever. But when you have that base, no matter what happens in the future, as long as you keep doing it and chipping away at it, you'll have that to go back to. But as a player, and I experienced this, when you stop, it's done. It's like poof. It's like the rug gets swept from under you, and it's like there's nothing there. Like you have nothing to fall back on, because when you're done playing, you're done, and you can't just like make a salary and do nothing. And you can try to hold on and like get every last drop out of it, but you're still gonna be making a lot less than you were when you were getting sticker money, that salary, that prize money, sponsor obligations, whatever it is. It's a super lucrative job, but also like once you're done, you're done.
All right, we got GK.
This angle is so hard. Is that terrorist to clear? I was a middle player in Vertigo. This is middle, so it's the.
I hope the clip is only this. It's just him holding.
I mean, it's getting there. It's getting close.
I think it is. I think.
Oh. Nice.
Wait, where did he die from? We'll go back.
Wait, what?
Oh.
Did he crouch and he moved across and he crouched? He did.
Oh,
Like,
oh.
that's
Whoa.
I would be pissed too. I'd be done. That's happened to me before where I've like held an angle for like 20 seconds and either I do that or I blink and then they peek. Oh my god, that's so annoying.
You're the full 18 seconds.
Yeah,
That
it's one of
was
those-
crazy.
You write it down to like
Don't
that's
crouch. Never look away.
Yeah.
But keep staring.
I gotta ask, because obviously I've never had the chance to ask you. When it comes to like top moments you have had in CS, I can imagine what your answer is gonna be, but if you gotta name one or two and maybe like describe what those feelings are like, because I'm sure there's a lot of like aspiring players who like are chasing that feeling. So can you maybe describe some?
All right, so the first, probably when I qualified for my first major, definitely, like that's probably number two, like a close number two actually, because when you're like a young player, all you want is that sticker, that one sticker, like to get in the game, not for the money, but for like you're in the game forever, you know, and like you get to play against all the best players. So that was with OpTic. First iteration was Stanislaw and Daps, and we were in Poland. I'm trying to think that was our first major with OpTic. I think it might have been our second. So I think we failed at the RMR with Shazam, if I remember right, and that was a big. You said like a lot of pressure. That was rough, like losing that. Anyways, then we made it the next time we tried, and yeah, that was just like I remember like just being like numb, like my hands were literally numb. And then the last round was like 15-14 for us, like one round away. It was pure euphoria. The second one I can think of is probably the E-League win season 2. It's like I was the MVP, which honestly I did not expect. Like, yeah, I played great, but Naf like full on carried us in the final. I thought he was gonna get it because he won us the event. So in my opinion, he should get it. But I understand I was more consistent throughout the tournament. But the craziest feeling was like getting to the after party because we got there late because obviously we were playing a final and stuff, and it went 3 maps. Like everyone was there already, and like all that happened was like the bar went fully quiet and everyone just fucking started clapping like a standing ovation. I was just like, because my whole team just came in and I was like, fuck, this is crazy. And there's always these like legends that like VP, like SK or whatever, teams like I always look up to. And like I remember talking to like Neo, and he's like, bro, you played so well. I'm just like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like, you know, I was like, because I was still like a young kid back then. It was like we hadn't done that much. One Northern Arena, and that was okay, but like this is different. So yeah, when these people just come up to you, and like it's like you're, no pun intended, like you're on cloud 9. You know, it's like you're literally up there. You feel like you're high on life, which is awesome. So
All right, this is the last one we got. We have Swill CS here.
Daggle action, default Daggle action.
Alright, go.
He's default. Or
Well done.
Yes, go. It's definitely not Sid too.
Nice. Nice.
Oh.
One good one.
When he's done, we'll replay the transfer for the boys.
The bomb, man.
Keeping the Daggle out?
Yeah, I've seen this. Honestly, I've seen this a lot. I don't understand it. Maybe it's going for the clip. I would always bring the Galil out. Yes, maybe it could be out of bullets, but I doubt it.
No!
Alright, let's go back to the first the transfer. Yeah.
Nice.
He's going. Alright, that's crisp. You know, what can you say besides he's hitting his micro flicks, and for some reason he's doing the whole left to right hand swapping, which I never understood that, but people do that because it's like a tick, you know. People do it, but yeah, I mean, what can I say other than he has really good aim and good adjustments? You know, it's not easy to do those like micro flicks, like I said, and a lot of people just over adjust or under adjust, and like Jake said, why the fuck's the Galil it out? Like, what are you doing? I'm just kidding. Obviously it worked out, but
Are there any? My only question with that then are there any ticks, any habits that you had when your knife out, swapping, like spamming anything, like?
I guess like I would definitely swap to my knife a lot, and I had to like kind of train it out of myself because it's not a good habit to have. Like I definitely lost duels because I would pull a knife out at the wrong time. Definitely bad.
And that'll make it into a highlight video too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The knife swaps.
And it'll be like that, like, you ready? Let's go! Like the fucking clip, and then there's like 0 kills. No, but you know, those are hilarious to be honest. But I'm glad I don't have any. Yeah, other than that though, ticks. I don't know if I remember any other ones that like I would do consistently. I think I was pretty like on myself of like if anything bad habits were to come, I would like train them out of myself, because there's some people who like, you know, like say like you're walking around the map, like, and you know what someone is, like they'll just pull their knife out and just walk with their knife out, and that's a thing. And I'm like in my head, I'm like, why would you ever do that? Like, what if like there's no benefit doing that? So sometimes if I see that like on a teammate, I'll tell them like after, like, hey man, maybe just keep your gun out. You know, people have died just because like they'll walk their knife out into a guy and they're like, ugh. You know, like a deer in the headlights is dead.
But it feels better, man. It feels nice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it feels clean to hear that noise.
You can inspect your knife and look at the nice money you spent in this game.
When it comes to esports teams, I think there's a few that people have in mind that just do things really, really well. And that was also, I feel like, what I personally call 2014 to 2018 or 2020 for me was like peak esports of like a lot of engagement, a lot of fans. These orgs were on the come up. You had FaZe and OpTic really taking off, Cloud9, Liquid. Everyone was like really pumping numbers. And so like, what was your experience like joining the team like OpTic? Because I think a lot of players describe that as maybe, like you said, like the numbers were pretty juiced. Like, did that make for a lot more pressure? Was it freaking fun? Like, what was that like joining a team like OpTic and realizing a fan base that strong?
I don't know. Honestly, I feel like there wasn't much pressure, at least from me. Maybe the other guys can speak differently, but we honestly didn't play that well at the start. Like, we didn't do much. Like, we had a few upsets here and there when we had like daps and stuff, but like before we got Mixwell and Tarek, but we actually didn't do that well. And I think Hex was always like, Hex wasn't beating that on our neck. It wasn't like, you guys gotta get the results. Never. Like, there was a certain point where he says like, you guys gotta be doing content or you gotta be winning. You can't be doing neither, you know? So that's fair, to be honest with me, because the way the OpTic, you know, functions the content. But obviously we started winning, and then he was super stoked, and like, he's like, do whatever the fuck you want, just keep doing what you're doing, you know? I don't know. And even in our worst moments though, like, you know, we had a large phase of like, we were really bad after Stan as well left after the E-League Atlanta major, where we like had all these stand-ins and people playing for us, and it was like, we played so bad, but he never really said anything bad. Like, Hex is, I don't want to speak like down about my past owners or anything like that, but Hex, I'm sorry, but he's like the best I've had. Just like, he came to the house, like the CSGO house, like every day, whether it be for like groceries, just to see us, because I was living with just me and Mixwell at the time. It was a little, you know, depressing because no one else came, but whatever. Like, it was just us two just hanging out in a, you know, $1 million+ mansion, whatever. I know it sounds like, wow, what a life. He's complaining about living in a mansion, but when you're like isolated from society, it is kind of sad. But he came and would bring us out to dinners, to like breakfast, to just hang out, literally just to see us. And I have like flashbacks of being like playing FPL all night and just being like sleeping till 1 p.m. and hearing a yo yo from Hex, like with his vlog camera. I'm just like, please don't film me. Like, but now it's like, I think back, I'm like, fuck, that was, you know, good guy. Like, honestly, like a great owner, great human. So
I love so much about what you said. Like, you got to either be winning or making content. I feel like that's such a Hex/OpTic thing, but it also like, it makes perfect like logistical sense of what esports players need to be doing, right?
And again, one last shout out to our sponsor, iBUYPOWER, for making this series possible. Every time I talk to these CS pros, it's so fun. Know their background, know their upbringing, and it's an amazing experience to get to talk and sit down with these guys, and also have them review some clips out there of all the viewers who've been submitting. So thanks to all of you guys who've been watching. We appreciate you all being here, and we'll see you back here soon for another episode of Fixing Matches. Take care.